Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to Omega Live with JJ, Women Without Borders. You know what time it is, right? And for you who are new to the program and who don't know, yeah, this I'm sorry for the interruption. It is caused by not through no fault of mine. It's caused through the data plan I'm using, and I'm using Flow Data Plan, and I'm saying it is a better data plan between digital and Flow, and unfortunately still not the best, but it is what it is. Okay, so you work with me here. Thank you for sticking around. Okay, and as I was saying before I lost service, right? Unfortunately, I am not seeing, guys, wherein our journalists are asking the hard questions of those who we put in charge of us. Yeah, a lot has happened yesterday, and I've been listening to the news, and I'm not hearing some of the questions. So today, I'm going to be asking some of those questions that I know you have. Okay, and so stick around. You want to also stick around for the end of the program, guys. Call your friend, share the link, and remember to subscribe, because when you subscribe, even if I lose feed and this program drops, the minute I come back on, you'll be notified by YouTube. Okay, so it's important to subscribe. Once you're subscribed, YouTube will notify you when I'm here. All right. Okay, so and again, share the link and invite your friends to come and watch, because it's going to be a very interesting program. I'm going to share some very interesting information with you. Okay, persons who saw my program 2 days ago when I was talking to you and telling you, explaining why the COVID-19 kills, right, and explaining about the lungs as I understood it. And okay, so today I'm gonna towards the end of the program, I'm going to be sharing with you guys, I mean, how it actually, the community spread. I talk about the community spread. I'm going to show you exactly how that can happen and why and what to do to prevent that from actually happening. Okay, so you do not want to miss it. I'm also going to be sharing some information for you that I got from the Consulate General of Jamaica. We have embassies and consulates all over the world, right? Wherever Jamaicans are, there's a consulate or an embassy there. And so it is very important for all my viewers and all your friends and family who are overseas. It's very important for them to watch this program, because I'm going to be sharing some valuable information for them. Okay, so like I said, share the link, all right? Okay, so you know the drill. The first thing I do when I start the program, I go through the news and then I give you my commentary on it, right? Okay, so here it goes. Jamaica now has 105 cases of confirmed COVID-19. Guys, hear that? 105. But don't panic. Yesterday I read the news and I gave you 73. Today I give you 105. But it is not a reason to panic, and you're going to see why, because I'm going to show you why. All right. The 32 new cases are all from a call center in Portmore, St. Catherine, right, with employees whose addresses are in the parishes of Kingston and St. Andrew and St. Catherine. This announcement was made yesterday by the Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Christopher Tufton. As a result of that, Prime Minister, the Honorable Andrew Holness, has announced a 7-day lockdown of St. Catherine. And that started from this morning at 5 a.m. That's today, Wednesday, the 15th of April, 2020. At 5 a.m. this morning, lockdown in St. Catherine. And it will continue until 5 a.m. on April 22nd. Right? That's next week, Wednesday. So it's 1 week. Note, now, during the lockdown, here are some very important information for you guys. Right. One, a matter of fact, let me read the news first. I have a clipping and then I'm going to actually play for you that from the Prime Minister, so you hear from the horse's mouth. But before I do, let me continue reading the news quickly for you. All right, so persons 65 years and older will be allowed to go out only for essential items, and essential items are classified as your medicine and your food. All right, so because the lockdown started 5 o'clock this morning, what the Prime Minister is saying is that it's a sudden notice, you understand, so you can go out today. So right now, if you're not watching my program, I can understand. You're probably out gathering some food supplies and getting your medicine, and that's the only thing. So you can only do it, as I was saying, you can only do it from 8 a.m. until 10 a.m. So basically, you would have been, well, you would have gone back home by now, right? According to what the Prime Minister was saying. But if you did not get to do it this morning because you had to go back home, you can do it again on Saturday. So Saturday morning on the 18th, you can go again from 8 a.m. until 1 p.m. And that is not only for you, but also for persons who are pregnant, right? And persons who have disabilities, right? If you have your surname is between the letters of A and M, right? So I heard Ron Mushet on Mellow FM talking about it this morning. So let me use him as an example. So Ron Mushet's last name is M for Mushet, right? It means that if he was living in St. Catherine, then he would have been allowed to go out between the hours of 10 a.m. and 1:30 p.m. today. Right, so he has until 1:30 p.m. to go out. So if your surname is between the letters of A and M, you can go out, right, up until 1:30 p.m. today. By 1:30, you should be back home, right? And if you did not get what you needed today, you can go again Saturday at the same time between 10 a.m. and 1:30 p.m. If your surname is between the letters of M and Z, so if, for example, your surname is Thomas, Thomas is between the letters of M and Z, or Z for some persons, right? Tomatoes, right? Then you can go to get your supplies between the hours of 1:30 p.m. and 5 p.m. today, right? So after my program, don't go now because now you're watching me and you're learning, right? Okay. After my program at 1:30 this afternoon, you can go and get your medical supplies, or if you need to go to the doctor, and it must be an emergency, Prime Minister says, or if you need food items, then you're allowed to do that. If you're living in St. Catherine, you can do that, and your surname is between the letters of M and Z, 1:30 to 5 p.m. today. I hope you got that. If anybody doesn't gotten that and you're watching, just send me a message in my comment immediately, so I will repeat and let you know that what's going on if you did not get it, right? The Prime Minister also it's not really an advice, it's more like an instruction and a warning that if you are going outside into the public, any at all, you live in your house, regardless of who you are, ensure to wear a mask. Now, when it's a wear a mask, they don't really care what kind of mask you are wearing. And I saw some very innovative Jamaicans are very creative people, very creative as to what they use to make masks, right? Now, what the Prime Minister said is that it must cover your nose and your mouth. It must cover your nose and your mouth. And later on, guys, like I said, you want to watch this program until the end, because later on, I'm going to show you the importance, the reason behind that. Okay? Now, it must cover your nose and your mouth when you're leaving the house. He doesn't care who you are. He says, if it is that you have a respiratory illness, that means you're asthmatic, for example, or it is that you have flu-like symptoms. So maybe this is flu season, guys. Forget about COVID-19 for a minute, just for a minute. So you could have had some other influenza. You could have the flu, the regular flu, right? Because it is flu season. So it doesn't have to be that if you're sniffling or you're coughing or sneezing, that it is a COVID-19. It could just be the regular flu that you're having because it is flu season. So if it is that you're experiencing flu-like symptoms, coughing, sneezing, sniffling, all these things, it's saying stay home. Regardless of who you are, say, even if you are classified as an essential employee, you can't do anything for anyone if you're sick. And what you're going to do, basically, because flu is contagious, you're going to be passing it on to your co-workers anyway. So the best thing to do is to stay home. Now, here is what's important to note. Okay, if it is that you are experiencing flu-like symptoms or sniffling and having any kind of a respiratory issue, and you end up going to work anyway, if it is that your employer do not send you home or report the matter to the Ministry of Health and Wellness, your employer is going to be penalized. So you know what that means, because no employer is going to be penalized for you. So stay home. Okay. The Prime Minister also says that as I was saying, right? So the ID that you must have with you must be either your passport, your driver's license, or the ID issued by the electoral office that we call the voter's ID. Those are the preferred IDs. Now, some exceptions will be made because the police will use their discretion. When they stop you, when the police and soldiers stop you, they'll use their discretion. When they ask for your IDs, if you see that you do not have one of those IDs, or government issued, another government agency issued ID, like for example, let's say you work at the Ministry of Education and they issue an ID. If it is that you have one of those kind of IDs, they will accept those IDs also, and the police will use their discretion if it is that you have, for example, let's say you go to University of the West Indies and you have your UWI ID, then they will use their discretion and they'll allow you to go through. Or if it is, as the Prime Minister says, that you work at a recognizable institution of public note, and that is still that's still subjective, so I won't even go into a debate on that one, or to argue that. That's not my argument for today. But if it is that you have that, the police are also asked to use their discretion to allow you to go through. However, guys, remember, whatever ID it is that you have, it must have a photo on it. It must have your photograph on it, and the photograph must look like you. So it cannot be a photograph that was taken 20 years ago that no longer looks like you. Right? So your ID must look like you. Okay. And you want to do that, guys, because you do not want to end up. I grew up hearing a story about the Honorable Colonel Charles being locked up during a state of emergency. And I won't even tell you the story that I heard, and it was just water under the bridge, so to speak. But the point is that it doesn't matter who you are, guys. Is the point. Whether you are the Prime Minister or whether you're just a street cleaner, it does not matter. Okay. When you're going on the road, ensure that you have your ID. Okay. You do not want to end up in lockup. You do not want to end up behind bars. Okay. So just do it. All right, guys, just do it. All right. So as a result of the news, right, and I'm going to play a clip for you in a short while. I'm going to play a clip for you. But as a result of that news, guess what? There was a pileup of motor vehicles on the Kingston to Portmore Highway, right? Persons were rushing to Kingston. They were rushing out of Portmore, trying to get away from Portmore because they wanted to go now to actually beat the lockdown that was scheduled for 5 o'clock this morning. And I understand it, and this is not something, so take it with a grain of salt, because I cannot verify it. I cannot fact check it. But as I understood it, that up to this morning, before 5 o'clock or during that time frame, persons were still trying to leave Portmore. And as I understand it, our security forces were allowing them to go through. Like I said, guys, take that with a grain of salt. I wasn't there. I cannot verify it as a reliable source, but that's what I heard. Okay, because people were just. And the question is, guys, where are you going? When you're rushing out to Portmore, where are you going? And you're rushing out to Portmore too. Do you know if you have it or not? Were you tested? So now are you? Now that's what we call community spread. Yeah, yeah. That's what's gonna cause community spread. Huh. So anyways, yeah. Before I give you my 2 cents, on that, I'm gonna have to give you my 2 cents on that. Okay, so meanwhile, a 63-year-old woman from Portland has died from COVID-19. She now brings to 5 the number of deaths that we have in Jamaica as a result of the COVID-19, right? So the number is climbing. We now have 5 dead in Jamaica as a result of COVID-19, right? And sincere condolences to the families and friends of this person. Okay, and but some good news as always. I have to put some good news into it, right? Because now we are up to 21 recoveries. We have 21 persons now who have recovered from COVID-19. So guys, there is hope. Thank you, Lord. Amen. Okay. All right. So now, guys, my spiel on this. But before I give you my spiel, I have to read for you. This is very important that I read. I'm going to read two pieces of news for you. So you know, because I only have an hour, and I don't only have an hour, but I limit myself to an hour because I'm using data plan, as you know, and I have to make sure that I have enough, gigabytes that every day I can come and do this. So I can't do 3 hours one day and then the next day I don't have any, right? That wouldn't make any sense. That would not be wise, and you got to be wise. So I limit the program to only an hour per day so that I can have my data every day to use, right? Good. That's why I limit the hours, just so you know. So as a result of that limited time frame, I can't give you every news that is occurring. And sometimes the news that I give you, I try to ensure it envelopes or it's an umbrella news for something that is taking place. So, for example, on the 12th, right, that there was a news that I did not give to you, but it was the number was a part of what I gave you in terms of the number of confirmed cases for that day, right? So, listen, on April 12th, there was a news that said the second Portmore call center employee was confirmed positive for COVID-19. So there is now growing concern among employees of the Portmore St. Catherine-based business process outsourcing, that's the BPO company, Alorica, where a second employee has tested positive for the dreaded coronavirus disease in just 2 days. Right? So just in 2 days. So they had the first case. In the first case, they had it was reported that they had a case of the coronavirus right there in the call center, and then 2 days later they had their second case of the coronavirus that was on the 12th. Today the 15th. That was on the 12th, right? Listen to the news, guys. The Minister of Health and Wellness has confirmed the second individual to be a 19-year-old male from Clarendon whose positive test results was confirmed on Saturday as in fact an employee of Alorica. On Friday, the health ministry reported that a 21-year-old female from St. Catherine who works at the call center tested positive for the respiratory virus. Right? Media reports said she was the first call center employee to test positive locally. So Friday and Saturday, we had 2 cases, right? We are very concerned at this time because any one of us could be carrying the virus right now. That's what the employee said. This is last week, guys. The Portmore resident added that we know the 2 people and we interact with them. We hope they get better soon. The problem for us is that it is just difficult for us to create any space between us while we are at work. It is just not possible unless some of us stay home. It is a risk we take every day we go to work. And now this will happen. The ministry said contact tracing is underway in relation to both call center cases as the health authorities try to determine the number of persons the 2 employees may have come in contact with, both at the workplace and in their communities. Meanwhile, reports are that Alorica will close its Portmore location for at least 2 weeks to allow its employees to self-isolate. It is also expected that the building will be deep cleaned during that period of time. And as was done, guys, it was done. They cleaned the building, and guess what? After cleaning and sanitizing, they reopened. Yes, they reopened. All right. Now, listen to this other news. After this second report, okay, so they have 2 cases, right? After those 2 cases were reported, the state minister of the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information, the Honorable Alonzo Terrelong, he stated, okay, so I'm going to read that news for you now. So, the BPO are being urged to immediately review and update their current COVID-19 related health and safety measures and to develop and implement policies where none exist. Okay? This call was made against the background of the call center to Alorica to temporarily close its Kingston branch as part of mitigation activities regarding the virus. Terrelong argues that safety is paramount at this time. I'm quoting him now. I'm going to quote him. While we understand the economic importance of the BPO sector and the jobs created for over 40,000 Jamaicans, this must not supersede the importance of our health of our society, and in this case, the health of our youth population. The health and safety of all employees is paramount. This is a time for all employers in the BPO sector to enact proper policies and follow the sanitation guidelines set out by the government and Ministry of Health and Wellness to keep our young people safe. It might be useful for other BPO entities to follow suit. It is better to close for 2 to 3 weeks and review policies, implement necessary safety guidelines to maintain adequate social distancing, install hand sanitizer stations throughout the workplace, on buses that transport workers, and install thermometers for mandatory daily temperature checks for staff upon entering and leaving the workplace, if this is not already being done. Okay. All right. So, guys, where do I start? Okay, I think I should start with you listening to the Prime Minister message, right? So listen to this, guys.
I can only continue to stress the importance of every single Jamaican taking personal responsibility for maintaining the recommended health protocols, the orders given by the government under the Disaster Risk Management Act, and just general common sense in protecting your personal health, the health of your family, the health of your community, and indeed the nation. Aside from the individual responsibility, there is a corporate responsibility and a government responsibility, where persons who are entrusted with resources and management over others are required to exercise a higher level of diligence. The government certainly has exercised a very high level of diligence, and we continue to work very hard in the country's interest to ensure that the outbreak is contained and controlled. But as I've said earlier, it was always expected that there would be a spike. And the announcement now of 32 additional cases, Minister, 32 additional cases, when in the past, the highest number we have had in any one testing would have been 6. That tells you that you're now entering into a new phase.
No, you're not.
Meant to scare anyone, but
that's what you're doing.
You should be scared. Maybe that is the only way that behavior is going to change. But I don't want panic. What I want is concern. What I want is for people to take responsibility. What I want is for people to listen to what the government is saying and follow the orders, the recommendations, and follow them faithfully. As I had indicated before, the government will put in place actions that are appropriate to the circumstances that we face. We therefore, having discussed the matters at length today at Cabinet, and after considering the advice of the public health team and carefully considering all the dimensions of the problem we face, the government at this point is announcing that there will be a lockdown for the parish of St. Catherine, starting at 5 a.m. Wednesday morning April 15th, 2020, through to 5 a.m. Wednesday, April the 22nd, 2020. That is a lockdown starting 5 a.m. tomorrow for the next 7 days, ending 5 a.m. on the 22nd of April 2020.
Next Wednesday.
What is the objective of the lockdown? The objective of the lockdown is to slow as much as possible the spread of the virus. The minister gave you some numbers as to the number of persons tested, and with 33 persons confirmed, you can use your own imagination.
No, we don't have
to figure out how many persons have been contacted, the areas that people would have traveled to, and the potential spread that can come from that. So
unnecessary.
You could be looking at as many as 1,000 persons contacted in close proximity. The effect of that is very great, and therefore the measure that we have to put in place is one that would seek to contain and slow the spread of the virus in a particular geographic area. The reason why we are looking at putting in the lockdown now on St. Catherine is that we have done a GIS, that is a Geographical Information Systems, mapping of the addresses of the affected persons.
Listen, guys.
And we are seeing where the addresses cluster. The addresses of the 300 plus that we have already mapped have clustered mainly in St. Catherine and parts of Kingston and St. Andrew. For Kingston and St. Andrew, we're doing further work. We have a further 300 plus addresses to map. And once we can fully identify the clusters, then other actions will be taken.
Listen.
So for St. Catherine, we know already that there is a massive cluster and that the spread there is particularly probable just by virtue of the existence of the call center in Portmore. People having traveled to the call center would have used public transportation, would have congregated in public areas. So there is a concentration there. So we have to start, and I want to be clear on that to the public. This measure is a start. And we're starting in St. Catherine, depending on what the other mapping of the addresses show and how the cases progress from here, then we will implement broader, tighter measures. If things go well in the sense that there is no further spread and we have contained it, then there is no need. But the government has been very responsive, very agile. As we test, as we look, as we see the data, we act accordingly. So I'm putting Jamaicans on notice that we have entered into a new phase. And as we have said before, when we are in this phase, the appropriate actions will be taken. So it shouldn't be a surprise that we are taking this action. What does a lockdown mean? Well, the first rule of the lockdown is that if you are ill with any form of flu-like illness with symptoms or any respiratory illness with symptoms, stay home. Some people don't understand that. Tana your yard. I'm sure everybody understands that. More than that, isolate yourself. Stay in a room in your house. Stay away from people as much as you can. If you are ill with any form of respiratory illness with symptoms or influenza-like symptoms, flu-like symptoms, that means you're coughing, sneezing, having a fever, stay home.
Stay home.
You are not required to go to work. No matter how essential you are, stay home. The orders that will be in place will take the obligation of you to come to work. If you are ill, stay home. We will place an obligation on the employer that if you turn up to work, they have a duty to report you and send you home.
You heard.
And these obligations and duties come with a penalty. And I will be discussing penalties later on.
And I'll have updates for you.
So that is the headline. Number one, if you are ill, stay home. If you are 65 or older, stay home. Stay home. lockdown, there will be need for the essentials of life. Movement is only permitted for the essentials of life.
You heard.
Now, some people might believe that a bar is essential for life. I've seen a video circulating where there's an appeal. I'm certain that in this time of great trial for the Jamaican people, everyone understands that the essentials of life would mean, first of all, food and medicine.
Absolutely. We're on the same page with that.
So you are only permitted to move to replenish your cupboard, or if you need to replenish your prescription. There is no other reason to be on the road.
Okay.
The AG is reminding me of another one. Well, I would put that under medicine if you have to go and see the doctor. And then it would have to be
emergency.
An emergency.
Only an emergency.
The police force has been so advised. How do we enforce this?
Good question.
Really, this should not be a matter of enforcement. Really, we should be relying on the reasonable man to take care of their own interests. But that is not always the case.
Not at all.
All persons being on the road or in a public space, that means they are not in their private residence,
You went through the gate.
have identification. The identification should be either a government-issued ID, which would be your passport, or the voter's ID or the driver's license.
Okay.
We would also consider IDs issued by various ministries, departments, and agencies. IDs, as long as they have a photograph which is visible. The police will exercise discretion in other areas. If you have, for example, an ID issued by a registered university, tertiary institution, or a school, the police will use their discretion as long as they can see your face matching what is on the photo ID.
Okay.
Why do we need you to have ID?
Good. Listen.
For persons who are 65 years and older during the period of the lockdown,
Till next week, Wednesday.
you will be allowed to pursue the essentials of life between 8 a.m.
and 10 a.m.
and 10 a.m.
Thank you.
Well, let me just back up a little bit so that we're clear. The pursuance of the essentials of life will not be done every day within the 7-day lockdown.
Mondays and Saturdays.
You will be allowed.
Sorry, Wednesdays. Wednesdays and Saturdays.
In which you are allowed movement to pursue the essentials of life. These are the days that we expect our citizens to be able to restock their cupboards, refill their prescription. For medical emergencies, you will be allowed as they arise. And I think everybody should understand that point. As if you have a medical emergency, it is an emergency. You go out on the road, carry your ID, explain to the officer if you are stopped. An understanding policeman using his discretion would probably be escorting you, helping you to get to the doctor.
Yeah.
If
Very
that
few.
is possible. The 2 days for restocking would be Thursday, Wednesdays and Saturdays. And I use the days in plural, which signals that
listen,
though we are going for 7 days,
all right,
it is likely that it could go for 14.
And you can say definitely
So
it will be
the
going for
plan
14.
that we have is that within the 7-day period, you will have 2 days for your restocking. So you would have Wednesday the 15th, which is tomorrow,
which
you
is
would be
today,
allowed to get your stock, which is only fair,
right?
seeing that it is short notice. And Saturday the 18th, again, we think that that is fair.
Yeah, that's fair. Agreed. I agree with you with that.
So, if you are 65 years or older, if you are a pregnant woman,
Pregnant?
but I should just say if you're pregnant.
Yeah.
And if you are otherwise abled, and I hope everybody understands.
Yeah, a person with disabilities, yes.
If you're a person with disabilities, then you will be allowed between the hours of 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. to pursue the essentials of life.
Okay.
We expect you to pursue only the essentials.
Okay.
So, I would, police and military have been advised that if an elderly person is being accompanied, that's fine. That should be encouraged, actually, as long as you're maintaining the necessary hygiene protocols, because you don't want to endanger the older population.
Naturally.
Category a.m. to 1:30 p.m. on Wednesday the 15th and Saturday the 18th. And your surname begins with A to M. You can go out onto the street, preferably one person per household. You don't want everybody onto the street, one person per household with ID.
Tomatoes.
Between 1:30 p.m. and 5 p.m. you will be expected and allowed. On Wednesday the 15th and Saturday the 18th to pursue the essentials of life.
Okay.
And essentials of life again is to go to the supermarket or the corner shop or the pharmacy or the gas station.
Yeah, car needs gas.
Return home. For clarity, let me repeat, therefore.
Okay.
The parish of St. Catherine.
Okay, guys, I'm going to pause it because what he's doing now is just basically repeating what he said earlier. So I'm going to pause that so that I can give you my spiel on this. All right. So there you have it. You heard it from the horse's mouth, right? For all of my family and friends and viewers overseas who didn't get the chance to hear the Prime Minister actually said, no, you heard for yourself, right? Okay, so here's my spiel. First of all, and you know they say, the love of money is the root of all evil. My contention when they decided to keep the BPOs open, I was like, why do you have to keep the BPOs open? And to be honest with you guys, I get it. I didn't really get it before, but after listening to the press conference yesterday and listening to Miss Gloria Henry, I'll soon talk about her in a second, and other persons, and even Minister Terry Long and everybody talking, I get it. So 40,000 plus persons work in the BPO sector, 40,000 plus, staying home unemployed to add to the already 40,000 plus unemployed that are at home right now. You're talking about almost 100,000 persons being home unemployed. So I get it, right? As to the reason you decided to keep the BPO sector open, we have to have the economy. We can't shut down the economy. We got to have, persons earning an income to generate, to have the economy turning over. Okay, so I get that. But here's my contention then. All right, since you already have decided to keep the BPO open, shouldn't things have been put in place to ensure that in that sector, proper protocols, right, are being observed? All of the social distancing that you just mentioned, you heard, I read to you what Minister Terry Long said in a statement, right? With the hand sanitizer station and all these kind of things, maintaining 6 feet apart and all that kind of. I mean, we have health inspectors and we have a personnel open, then you would have been a bird's eye view on this industry to ensure that the BPO sector was following the guidelines. Now, I heard Ms. Gloria Henry, and Gloria Henry, she's a spokesperson for the BPO sector, right? Right. So she actually said, guys, that these call centers, they're not a part of the association. The association she's referring to, the official name for it is the Global Services Association of Jamaica, the GSAJ. She is the president of the association. And I heard her say that these call centers are not a part of that industry. So that alone right there, so it's a red flag. And I'm not even going to go through that today because that's not even the point that I want to make. But I had to just put that in to show you how much COVID-19, guys. Let me tell you something. You said it's COVID-19. Guys, I want you to start to take COVID-19 as a blessing in disguise. I'm dead serious because it is exposing a lot of things. It is exposing a lot of bad. Here it is. Okay. Here it is that you have a call center in Portmore. That's where the call center is. You have all these cases at that call center, and you come on national TV and you don't put it in context, and you scare people by telling them that we have a rise of 32 cases. People start to worry now about the spread. Oh my God, 32 new cases that we're having. And instead of saying, okay, it is not 32 community spread as in everybody. I mean, although this can lead to community spread at this point, but it is actually 32 cases at the call center where we already had identified 2 confirmed cases, and because of negligence, right? We have a cluster in St. Catherine, and that is what is being addressed at the moment. But there's also one in Kingston and St. Andrew. You heard him said, right? Right now they're doing contact tracing. Right now they're doing their investigation. So you're going to find going on, and I'm going to have more news for you as this week. The guys, this is getting very serious and very interesting. And I'm saying to you, pay attention, watch my program because I'm going to have information for you. I'm going to have the latest information for you, okay? And put the information going out, guys, is not being put in context. And you heard they talk about putting things in context when I read that statement for you about that ship, right? Putting things in context. You got to put things in context. When you put it in context, you recognize it's not as if the entire St. Catherine is a community spread in the parish of St. Catherine. No, it is at one call center that it did not have to happen in the first instance, because if they had nipped it in the bud initially, it got to the place where it's got now, and all the cases. So I give them some props in the sense that obviously some testing took place, because if they did not do some testing, they wouldn't have known that these persons are confirmed cases, right? So that means some testing. So obviously they apparently tested all the persons there at the call center, and as a result of testing everybody, they found that these persons have it. Now, why is it that only these persons have it and not everybody in the call center? Stay for the end of the program. You're gonna learn. All right. So these 32. Now you're shocked. They're not. No social distance. distancing going on, okay? No sanitizing, no wearing of masks and so forth. I promise you that there are places in St. Catherine right now that they're not doing that. Yeah? Now you are being reactive. Instead of being proactive, you should have been proactive. Now you're being reactive in shutting down the parish of St. Catherine because of what took place in Portmore that didn't have to happen, that you could have prevented. All right. As I said, now we have a situation because those 32 persons who were tested, if you do the math, right, you can see, as you rightfully said, these 32 persons, they went home and they went home to their families, right? And so they could have passed it on to their families because they handle the refrigerator, they cook meals, right? They cook the dinner. They went into the refrigerator for something, right? They went into the bathroom, they had a shower, or we don't know at what time, whether it was before or after. If they were practicing some of this, the hygiene mechanism that you put in place in terms of actually taking off their clothes at the doorway and things like that, then that probably could mitigate some of the cases that could potentially balloon, right, or mushroom. However, we don't know if they did that. You don't know. So if they did that, they probably could have saved their relatives and friends. But at this point, we don't know, right? So depending on how large that family is, because some people, it's not like me who live alone, and it's just me, so I have no one to pass it on to if I have it, because I'm just be by myself, right? There are many people who live in large households, and there are dozens of them living in one household, right? So yes, this now the reason we are heading into the new phase according to you, which according to you we should not be surprised about. I'm going to put it to you, sir, with all due respect, that you guys caused it. We didn't have to go into this new phase. And the question is, I'm always asking these questions, that what are you not telling us? Because there always seems to me that there always some underlying situation going on. There's always some hidden agenda that I don't know about. Because you see the problem, you know what is happening. And if you do not put certain things in place and implement certain things, it's, to me, I mean, I know you guys are intelligent. You guys are smart. You guys work in teams. You have advisors. So when I see things don't happen, I'm always having to ask the question, what's the hidden agenda? You understand? Because I fail to believe that, with all those bright minds brainstorming, that, these things fall through the cracks and you don't, I mean, seriously, I don't get it. I refuse to understand, because it does not make sense to me otherwise. You understand? All of this was unnecessary. All of this could have been prevented. All of this was avoidable if you were practicing what you were preaching and doing what you said you were doing. I don't get it. And now the good suffer for the bad, because there are persons, and as always, it is always the poorest among us who suffer when these things happen. Guys, it's always the poorest among us. There are people, they live from day to day, not even from paycheck to paycheck, because they do not get a paycheck, or from week to week. They live from day to day. Today, they have a meal for today. They don't know where the next meal is coming for tomorrow. So tomorrow they go out hunting for that meal. And by doing things like these, you are curtailing their activities and preventing them from having food on their table to feed their family. That's what is happening, guys. Do you guys stop to think about these things before you do things? Why are you so reactionary? You can't be so reactionary. You got to be proactive, okay? So you know how the virus is transmitted. So you implement things in place to prevent the transmission of the virus. And so, guys, before I go even any further, let me segue into this, because I might have to continue tomorrow with regard to some of the things that I want to really put out there and to say to you. So let me go into this and say, all right, so guys, a lot of persons ask, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse. So how do I teach nursing assistants how to take care of the elderly and the disabled? If you keep watching my program, watch Omega Live and watch me, you will learn and you'll understand why it is that I'm able to do this. All right? So I'm going to tell you now. Okay, so now, understand this. There is a thing called the chain of infection, right? The chain of infection. You heard the saying, right? A chain is only as strong as its weakest link. That's a fact. A chain is only as strong as its weakest link, Right. So the chain of infection, any one of those links are broken, guys, it will stop the spread of infection. The COVID-19 is an infection. Okay, for those who don't know, the COVID-19 is an infection. All right, you have pathogens, guys. Pathogens are microbes that causes diseases, right? Okay, so the disease, the coronavirus disease, COVID-19, okay, that's the end result of it. Now, here's what we're saying. And this is what all doctors know, all nurses know, all personal health professionals are supposed to know. Okay, you have a chain of infection. In order to have a chain of infection, that means you're passing the infection from one person to the other and you're having a spread, a community spread. For that to happen, guys, one, you're going to have the pathogen, right? That is the disease-causing microbe. You got to have that, first of all. Secondly, you're going to have what is called the reservoir. Now, you persons know what a reservoir is, right? A reservoir is a storage facility, right? Where they're storing water, whatever you're storing. So a reservoir in our case would be, for example, us. We are the reservoir. The human body is the reservoir, yeah? A body of is in me, and now it needs a portal of exit. The portal of exit, guys, has to be either some orifice, whether it's my nose or my mouth, right? Or a break in my skin, right? These are portals of exit. Then it also has to have a method of transmission. A method of transmission. Because they do not fly, right? These microbes, they're tiny, you can't see them, they're little organisms, but they can't fly. They don't have wings to fly. That means they need a method of transportation, a method of transmission. How is it going to get from point A to point B, right? And so you have direct and indirect transmission, guys, all right? I hope you're learning what I'm saying. I want you to get it because I want you to understand. If you understand what I'm about to tell you, I promise you we will be able to contain, we will not have community spread, okay? We'll be able to contain this thing, guys. Listen. So, you now have a method of transmission, which is either direct or indirect. So, direct method of transmission, guys, like for example, I hug you, I touch you, I kiss you, you have sex with your husband or your wife, okay? These are direct methods of transmission. Those are direct methods of, so you transmit viruses, guys, or you transmit it, right, directly. But you also have indirect methods of transmission. So, for example, let's say, again, I have the virus, and I'm going to use a common cold virus. It's the same method, guys. I'm going to use the common cold. I'm not using COVID-19 because I have cold sometimes. So let's just say I have the common cold, all right? And I have method, guys. I'm going to use the common cold. I'm not using COVID-19 because I have cold sometimes. So let's just say I have the common cold, all right? And I have guys, if you're able to still see me, send me a message, please, in the comment box. Let me know because I'm getting an unstable feed on my side. So I'm not sure if you're still with me. Okay. So, how it is, I threw that tissue on the floor, and now it handle indirect method of transmission. Yeah? But it is still being passed on, guys, right? That's how you pass it on. That's how you do it. Now, listen to me carefully. So that now is method of transmission. Now you're going to have a portal of entry. A portal of entry, because remember, they can't fly. So even though it's on the doorknob, it was on the tissue, it's now on your hands because you held the door, because you took up the tissue. The virus is now on your hands, guys. Yes. Okay? But you need now a portal of entry. It got to get back going. It has to go into your body. So it left my body, but it's got to get into my son's body now. How is it going to get into my son's body? It's on his hands, but that's where it is. It's on his hands. This portal of entry is similar to the portal of exit, right? So now it's got to get into your eyes, your nose, your mouth, right? That's how it's going to get back into the body. And if you have an abrasion on your skin, right? Your broken skin. Guys, can I tell you something? Doctors who study the body, they know that there is a God. I'm telling because they know that there's no way that this body could not have been intelligently designed, because God has been in his awesome intelligence, his infinite wisdom, has created a wonderful body for us, guys. That the skin that we have here is an organ that protects us, guys. The skin protects us. It keeps out infection out of our bodies. Yeah, the skin. But if it is broken, and that is why for you guys who are into the tattooing, I'm not knocking you for you want a tattoo. I'm just saying to you, it's not healthy. It's not healthy for you to be tattooing your body all over like that, because you're breaking your skin. This protective layer that God has given you, you're breaking it, right? So when you have an abrasion, when you have a cut, okay, and the skin is broken, now that's an entry that becomes now a portal of entry for microbes to get into your body. Yes. So these are the ways that the virus gets into your body. And then now, so it gets into your body, right? And so now, in order now for the chain to be completed, you now have to have a susceptible host. A susceptible host. Now, guys, understand this. This is the reason some people live and some people die. This is the reason some people get well and some people do not recover. This is why some people get a virus in their body and they still go about their business, and others take ill and they're in bed for 2 weeks. You have to have an susceptible host. That is someone who has a weak immune system. Okay? It means that your body cannot fight this infection. Right? That's what that means. All right? Your body is so wonderfully made, guys. The Lord has created what is called mucous membranes, right? So the mucous, and I'm going to talk about it in a second a little bit more. The mucous membranes in the body, these are things that are used as defense mechanism to fight off all of these viruses, these microbes, right? Okay. Okay, Daddy, allow me to finish, please. Or unhealthy, your white blood cells are, because that's the purpose. That's what they do, okay? And so I'm saying to you, that is the point, guys. I want you guys to understand it, because this will make you understand why it is necessary for you to put on, use the sanitizer. If you get nothing else for the day, I want you to ensure you get this, because I cannot enter into your bodies, right? That you're practicing infection control measures and you're preventing the virus from getting into your body. Now, for you, the individual, I'm going to share with you now some tips as to basically what you can do, right? And here's the thing, guys. You got to eat right and exercise. Eating the food that you eat is very important, and especially now during the COVID-19 pandemic, you want to ensure that you're eating right. Guys, cut out the foods that are inflammatory. There are some foods that you eat, right, that they promote inflammation in your bodies, and there are some foods that are anti-inflammatory. Now, I won't be able to give you the whole list of it today, and or any point of time for that matter, but you can go and do your own research on these things. Nothing that I say to you guys is something that I make up. All that I'm saying to you are things that are out there, right? This is information that every doctor and every good nurse is supposed to know, and every person in the healthcare profession is supposed to know, okay? You can go and do your own research, but the idea is to eat more anti-inflammatory foods and less inflammatory foods. That means, guys, cut out the made up from mucous membranes. Yeah, mucous membranes is what makes your lips. Okay, these are all wonderful. And here, guys, are microbes. Air to purify that air, right, before to go into your lungs. When it passes through the mucous membrane, one of the two things happen. The thing that is coming to your nostrils in the air, right, and the body's like, I don't want that in my body, and so. Thank you for